Macron by addressing the US Congress, where he got a warm welcome from lawmakers.
Mr. Speaker, the President of the French Republic.
Well, after that, Emmanuel Macron spoke enthusiastically of the special bond between the two countries in a lengthy speech full of historical references.
France has participated in the story of this great nation from the very beginning. Let us, for a moment, transport ourselves to the past. The French philosopher Voltaire and Benjamin Franklin, George Washington, son of America and France, Lafayette, son of the United States, Abraham Lincoln, Simone de Beauvoir, Martin Luther King, President Theodore Roosevelt, from Thomas Jefferson to Hemingway's novel to Faulkner's novels. This is this very special relationship. This is us.
Along with all of those historical references, there was some policy discussed, most importantly, the Iran deal. Now, the media has portrayed Trump and Macron's relationship as a bromance, so to speak, and comparing it to the infamous Bush-Blair bromance of the early 2000s. But that definitely could be a mischaracterization, considering that Macron took some positions that were totally out of line with Trump's policies, including expressing support for the Paris Climate Agreement, using the phrase, "make the planet great again," which is in stark contrast to Trump's "Make America Great Again" slogan. But Macron, that didn't seem to be Macron's position. He was a bit more ambiguous regarding the JCPOA earlier, but this time he did call for a more comprehensive deal while reiterating that France wouldn't be abandoning the agreement. But that wasn't his position on Tuesday when he met with Trump.
For a number of months, I've been saying that it was not a sufficient deal, but it will enable us, at least until 2025, to have some control over their nuclear activities. We therefore wish to work on a new deal with Iran.
We signed it at the initiative of the United States. We signed it both the United States and France. That is why we cannot say we should get rid of it like that. France will not leave the JCPOA because we signed it.
Again, Macron did clarify that the necessity of the agreement outweighs Washington's concerns, and he urged other signatories to stick with the deal until there's a better one. Now, Trump argues the opposite, but Macron and Trump reaching consensus came as somewhat of a surprise to the other signatories, especially considering that 500 French, British, and German MPs wrote a letter to U.S. Congress asking them to support the deal, saying that the concerns should be addressed separately and not within the context of the JCPOA. This is crucial because it's in direct conflict with Macron's view. So check out what the EU and Russia had to say about it.
On what can happen in the future, we'll see in the future. But there is one deal existing. It's working. It needs to be preserved.
We're against the revision of these agreements and believe it's very counterproductive to derail the long-standing international efforts. We'll make sure that these agreements enshrined in the UN Security Council resolution won't be violated.
Trump has until May 12th to decide what he's going to do, but now that there seems to be some division amongst the members of the EU, it's impossible to predict what exactly will happen.
Samira Khan reporting from Washington. As for how all this looks from Tehran, political analyst Syed Mustafa Khoshcheshm told me that although France and America might be aligning on the Iran deal now, the rest of Europe does not want to shift.
The trio nations in Europe, especially France, even more than Germany and Britain, is trying to get closer to Donald Trump's aspirations and demands, especially with regard to Iran's nuclear issue. But the rest of Europe is standing against any intensification of, problems and tensions with Tehran. They just rejected a demand by the trio European nations with regard to imposing further sanctions on Iran for its missile and regional activities. So this shows that Europe is not much willing